So this is my 12-month review of running an AI agency. If you guys don't know who I am, I've been trying to build an AI agency for a year now. I started here on March 1st. It's like last March 1st. It's actually kind of crazy that it's been that long. This is going to be my 12-month review. I'll make a yearly review after as well. It kind of encompasses everything that I've gone through, some of the main lessons I've learned there. But this is going to be my 12 months. So as a brief recap of what happened on my 11 month for you if you haven't already seen it. Basically, our ads were picking up. We got another client. We landed him for, I believe it was 2K and a performance base. So every job that we get more as well. So we landed that guy. Our first client we ever got on a performance-based bottle churned because he was a psycho. Maybe not a psycho, but he ran our ads without us knowing. He kicked us out and all this stuff. Really, really shady guy. Afterwards, he's like, thought that we were threatening him. He said he's going to sue us. Really glad that that's out of the way now. So we got the new client. We got that. Our other client that we got, the one of our second clients that we got, he doesn't have the most money. This guy's still an awesome guy to work with. But he finally got enough ad spend for us to start running his ads. And we were doing pretty good at the beginning, but we messed up on a few things. And now that brings us into the 12 months. So I have a few things written down here. I'll kind of talk about it step by step. But so number one is that I went to Costa Rica. So I was gone for like the first week and a half of February. In that time though, my team took care of everything. We had, I believe, maybe 6 or 7 sales calls in that time. We didn't close any of them. But that was largely in part to the other reasons I'm going to talk about here. But I was in Costa Rica it was like 9 days. My team ran it. It was beautiful for me to be in Costa Rica. It really visualizes what the goal for me is, right? At the end of the day, I want to move out of, the place that I live, which is Northern Canada. And that place was just full of life compared to here. So that was a nice break. Now, the second thing, which is the main thing coming off of what I just said about how we didn't close anything. We paused the ads when I got back because of a lack of structure. And this is something that, most people aren't going to talk about, right? But I want to be as transparent as possible for you guys, the stuff that I'm learning, the stuff that I'm going through. So just give you a different perspective on that. But our ads, I paused them because there was a lot of miscommunication, a lot of unorganization on our side. So when I was gone, everything was running smoothly. And I'm not saying this is like just a me issue at all. I don't want to paint that picture. But there was 4 of us that were all, taking sales calls, supposed to be calling up the leads, managing everything. And we didn't really have anything set in stone for who did what. And because of that, it caused a lot of miscommunication. It caused a lot of stir. And there's a couple times where we no-showed our on calls just because of that communication. And furthermore, there were, certain things that people didn't really, or, my boys in the agency, we didn't really understand how important it was for us to just stick to the one thing that we were told to do. And with our clients, because we have 2 clients that we're fulfilling for, right? The one that we got last month, and then the other one who we just got ad spend for and we're running, whose ads are actually really picking up. I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But we were fulfilling for these 2 clients. We were having problems with our AI. The knowledge base wasn't created the best. So we were going through that. We understood the back end. There's a lot of stuff that we've gotten from our mentors, right? I've paid over $10,000 in mentors this year, or last year, I guess you could say. And so we got these systems, learned these systems from our mentors, and we're really trying to dial down and understand this, and we can build stuff around it. We can add stuff to it. So that was a big thing. And then additionally, there were some cost constraints on our end. So our CRM that we use is Go High Level. We didn't have the $297 a month plan, and we weren't getting, we did have income 100%, but with some of our situations, all of that couldn't just go to the business. So there was some difficulty there trying to balance between the 3 when it would have been really easier. I think we have like 11 sub accounts now because there's a lot of other stuff like with our client success snapshot, our B2B, our community. We have some snapshots in there for people. By the way, if you haven't joined my free AI agency community, make sure you join that. It's completely for free. I'm on a call right now with 4 of my boys. We happy to answer any questions. We're on call every single day when we're free. Make sure you guys join that. But we have some for our Discord, sorry. And so a lot of sub accounts. We were trying to juggle everything just on the one plan because we didn't have the money to upgrade. But that got resolved. So that was a big part of it. But we paused because of that. Now, reorganization, that was a huge thing for us this month. This is probably the main thing that happened for us. And this was really helped by our mentors. So we're actually relaunching our ads tonight. It's been paused from probably like the 10th of February up until now. So it's been paused for a good 3 weeks. And in that 3 weeks time, we've just been reorganizing, right? Our mentor said, like you guys aren't organized. Everything in an agency needs to be organized. It needs to be tracked to a certain extent, right? You're not going to over organize when you're first starting out. Like you're not going to SOP everything and have to change it, 2 times after. But it wasn't organized, nor do we have any tracking set up. We had tracking systems, but for 2 reasons that we weren't really taking them seriously. One is that we didn't understand the importance of tracking, right? Like we just thought tracking was just whatever, right? Like literally we were tracking all of our important metrics, but we weren't at the same time because the way that we track them, right? Like our mentor, he does it all manually just for something to put into reference for you guys. It doesn't have to all be automated, but we do have like an automated system that we kind of built. And to do that, we just have to put in the call, right? We just have to like give updates on the call if they showed up, blah, 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 all of this. None of us were doing that. So we had a whole thing of tracking set up, but literally no tracking. And when we brought this to our mentor, right? Because we were like, yeah, man, like we're lost. Like there's a lot of stuff not going our way. The first thing he asked us, he's like, okay, what did he ask us first? I think he's like, what's your show up rate? We didn't know our show up rate, right? And that's really bad. In the agency, arguably, your show up rate is probably a really important thing because as my mentor explains, right? You start from the ad, then you go all the way to closing. Every single metric is tracked in between there so that you know when you're falling off. For us, it was probably the show up rate, right? We closed, I think it was 1 call for 10 and we were at like a 36% show up rate. We thought it was a 60, but because we never tracked, it was at a 33%. What does that entail, right? How can we fix that? Maybe setting calls. We weren't calling our leads at this point. We weren't setting them, which was a huge mistake. Like we were here and there, but we didn't really take it seriously until we talked to our mentor and he's like, okay, you guys got to set this up. You guys got to get this. Setting call, right? Probably huge for our show up rate. Probably double it easily. That's just one thing. He showed us some more examples of other clients he was running for. All of their stats were good up to closing. His closing was like, I think 25, 30% or something like that. So he's like, if you wanted to, increase your offer, switch your closer. And the same applied for us. Because we didn't know anything, we were just winging it, right? So we understood that. This sheet right here, actually, I don't know if you guys can see it. This is a task tracking sheet. So our mentor gave us 2, right? One's for ads, one for actual task tracking. So whatever you're doing in a day, you're going to set timers for 15 minutes and you're going to just track what you're doing. And again, you have those metrics. You know exactly what it is that you're doing. For me, I realized today, there was half an hour I spent just talking to one of my boys. Half an hour, not wasted, but half an hour spent just on talking to someone, right? That's it puts it into perspective on how fast time can go by. But that whole month was just spent building up those systems and reorganizing within the 3 of us, right? We just had a calendar. We're going to block out all of our time so that the sales call is going to be routed to the correct person. We never had that before. Literally, it was like, hey, are you getting this? Hey, can you get this? Sometimes 30 minutes before, right? So definitely, we were not running efficiently and system side, but now we are, or we understand it to the point where we're going to continue to iterate positively. So that's that. That was the main thing. Now, there's 2 other things that I do want to touch on. And this is more on the positive side. So with our client success, obviously that comes first above everything. We've been taking that very seriously. Our ads for our one client, for the client, like our second ever client that we got, who didn't really have the money for ad spend that we have for now, we ended up running some new ads for him and they're ripping. I believe in the past 3 days, we've gotten, or like in a 3-day stretch around a week ago, we got him like seven leads, 6 or 7 leads. So we were getting him like 2 legit leads a day. Now, within that, was some things we're still learning on that side, right? For instance, one of the things, our client wasn't calling his clients at all, which probably can, help that process. Even though our AI is reaching out, they're nurturing. He can still reach out, right? Just increase that chance of success. So there's that. As well, within that, we're stopping and starting the campaign, which isn't very good because we're losing momentum from it. But regardless, we're getting results. Now, this was probably one of the biggest things that happened within the month for the agency. So the organization, that was what took up most of our time. But this is probably one of the most notable things that happened. It was arguably a possibly $20,000+ mistake. What had happened, and we fixed this now, this girl, our AI ended up booking an estimate for our client. So we were running ads for our client. Someone came in from those ads. It was an estimate that he was going to run. Oh, and before this, we also got our client a 10K job through that. It's one of the first jobs that we've gotten him. It's a 10K job that he landed through those ads. There were a couple other estimates that I don't want to say he dropped the ball on, but he went there, right? Everything was good. Everything was good. He took too long and they ended up going with someone else, which was a bummer. But he ended up landing his first job and it was for 10K. So that was awesome. But this other estimate that we got him, this girl, the AI ended up booking her in. Her name, I'm just going to refer to her as M. She wanted to switch her time. So it was for like noon on Saturday. And this was the Friday before. And she wanted to switch her time. And the way that our workflows work is after somebody books, it's going to like stop bot, or it's going to stop our AI. So we have a huge system set up, and basically it's going to add a tag after it books an appointment that stops the AI from going to like certain parts of the channel. So there's follow-up channels, normal conversation channels, post-booking channels. It's going to like basically get rid of all those follow-up channels and those just certain stuff so that they're not reaching out twice and making it look stupid or like AI. And so we had to go in there manually, right, and change that appointment. And I went in there and I wanted to triple check what I was doing was correct. I know that in our CRM, sometimes when you rebook a client, it'll send automations again. And unfortunately, I was on call with my boy when this happened. And I was like, okay, if I do this, just double checking, like no double automations are going to be sent. And then unfortunately, we were both a little bit confused and it did. So I ended up switching your appointment time. And immediately we have two texts as soon as they book. It's, hey, thanks for booking. Just double checking this is the correct address, right? We confirm the address. Then we say like, if you can go ahead and confirm that for me. So I don't know, blah, 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 whatever. And I ended up sending, and she had already confirmed, right? And so that sent, me and my boy are like, oh crap. So I send her a text. I'm like, hey, just ignore those. Those are just automated reminders. See you tomorrow at 12. 30 seconds later, she texts back, you guys are way too pushy, exclamation point. Cancel my appointment. Do not call back, in all exclamation or all capital letters. And me and my boy just sat there. We're like, no way that just happened, because I was on a success call with our client like 30 minutes before this. And I was hyping up. I'm like, yeah, we'll close that estimate. You already closed 1 this week. Let's make it 2. Let's make this, a 50K week. And that happened. And we texted her and we're like, we're so sorry. We said that the system had an update, which wasn't true, but we were trying to save it. And she's like, no, I don't care. Or I don't think, she didn't say that, but we lost the job, right? And we told her client, we're like, hey, it was an update in our systems. We're going to make sure this never happens again. He was mad at us, rightfully so, especially since he doesn't have that much money for ad spend, right? So every little job counts. So that was a really big thing that happened this month that we're never going to do again, right? I wasn't careful enough. As careful as I wasn't careful enough. And that ended up, biting me, biting the agency. He's still with us, right? It's not like he churned off of that, but definitely didn't do us any solids, right? But all in all, that has been month 12. Again, crazy a year has gone by at this point. If I could have saw myself March 1st making this video now, I probably would be pretty excited. Know that I have a client, know that we got him a 10K job that we're fulfilling, that our AI is working, we're just iterating. It's awesome. It's really good to see. But yeah, I guess main lesson from this month, extremely careful on stuff when you're dealing with other clients. If it was our own, I wouldn't have cared. Well, obviously I would have cared, but it was a potential client's job. And that really stung, right? That was a stupid mistake. So biggest thing, like when you're dealing with a client, make sure everything you do, you triple check. Make sure that you are extremely careful and nothing bad like that will happen. But that's the review. I hope you guys got some value out of this. Again, like I said, gonna be making a yearly one that just explains everything, right? All of the main lessons that I've learned. This is arguably probably the most important thing I can share. A year's worth of knowledge into a 10-minute video, I think is, a no-brainer to watch, but whatever, that's up to you guys. Probably post it early this week, so make sure you stick around for that. Subscribe, so you can catch that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Above all, stay wise.